Yo, time for some live talk. Yeah, hold on. There we go. Time for some live talk. In the move again. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. A few of y'all come in for a little bit. So I'm gonna give it a second. Feel like it's been a few days. Oh, okay. I got my own notification that time. Wow. As soon as I went live, saw my own notification come through. So maybe they do be going through now. All right, Marcus, what's up, man? So yeah, on the go. Got to get it in. It's been a few days and a few fights to talk about. You know, um, I talked about it a little bit the other day, I believe, but I haven't really gone into these fights yet because time just be flying by, man. Like I kept thinking that these strawweight fights were in like June or July, but I remember they were announced in May. But as time goes by, man, it's like boom, man, it just hits you, man. I'm like, what? I'm like, dang, it's already that weekend. Shoot. And these are two good ones too. These are two good flyweight fights. Strawweight fights. Yeah, these are strawweight fights. See, I'm always used to talking about flyweight a lot now, but yeah, we still in the strawweight division here. So let's get started here in another minute or two. Yeah, I definitely will get in to do a fight companion this Saturday coming up for sure. Yeah, I definitely will jump on for this one because these are two good fights. Oh man, yeah. So I'm just on the move from point A to point B to talk about a couple of questions here with these fights coming up. BJ, what's up? Back to 115. Back to 115. All right, hold on 1 second. We'll get started at about like the 3 minute mark, like I usually do. 3 minute mark, and we can get to talking for a little bit. What else we got coming up this month? Making sure my connection's all right. Because actually, my connection's pretty good for some of these lives on the go, though. Like, sometimes they be a little crackly, but for the most part, I think they'd be good. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. What's going on, man? While I'm driving here to get where I need to get to, I just wanted to jump on and talk about these fights coming up Saturday, man. Like I said, I about forgot it was this time, man. We got Xiaonan taking on Jessica Andrade. Big fight for both of them. Really major for Xiaonan, because this is her fight to try to get her to her first title shot, right? Some people are seeing this thing as a title eliminator already, and I'm kind of like, it could be for Xiaonan. This could be a title eliminator, you know. But that's the thing. Maybe not like a title eliminator in the sense that she'll be next, but maybe she'll be lined up behind Amanda Lemos, in my opinion. You know, I think that would be fair because right now I think even though, let's say, if Yan Xiaonan defeated Jessica Andrade, who defeated Amanda Lemos, got to go by the rankings and who put in the work to get there and who stayed in the division. You know what I mean? Like, Andrade's kind of been jumping back and forth. She'll come through, win, and then disappear. Go back up to flyweight. So while she did defeat Amanda Lemos still put in the work. So yeah, I would still say she should get her title shot first. But if Yan Xiaonan can secure this, maybe she can, wait in line. And we know that Andrade wins. They might try to push her ahead, and then they'll make that argument and say, Andrade, if I beat Yan Xiaonan, hey, I've already beat Amanda Lemos. She was just keeping my spot warm, right? They might try to throw something out there like that. Her and her team. Okay. But before we can get there, I'm just kind of looking at a few of Xionan's fights and looking at Jessica Andrade, and how Jessica Andrade always has that intensity. Jessica's always on. She's always turned up, man. Like, killer instinct, power, strength. You got to have the goods to beat her, man. Like, you always got to come through with something special. And I don't care what people say. They try to take away from Erin Blanchfield's victory, but Erin still had something special. They say Andrade didn't have time to prepare. It was a short notice fight. Hey, Erin Blanchfield still had something special that night to defeat Jessica. I give her full credit for that fight. Jessica knew what she was coming into. She can't use no excuse either. She can't use the wardrobe as an excuse. She can't use the weight. None of that. She got full credit. Okay? So for Xiaonan, same deal, man. Gotta have something special. And that's the question. Like, I like Xiaonan striking. I like her ability to let her hands go. Like, she won't hold back at times. She will commit. But can she get the respect? I'm just looking at some of her fights. Like, she's got some pop to her shot. She's got some technique. But can she get Jessica's respect? Because that's the number one thing you got to do in a fight like this. You got to get Jessica respect. The blueprint is out there to beat Jessica, but not everybody can earn respect in a fight, right? Not everybody can get a person's respect. If you can't get their respect, you got to have something else that's major, right? You got to have something else major that's going to be something just off the charts that can just blow out Jessica and finish her, right? When you look at somebody like what Valentina can do, whether it be on the feet or on the ground, she just went on and took it to Jessica. There was really no moments where she had to just earn it. You know what I mean? Like, Jessica was wanting to take them chances in that flyweight fight. She did. She wanted to take some chances. So Valentina just switched up her game plan. A lot of people thought she was going to strike with Jessica, or strike her to death. Pick her apart and just beat her up on the feet. But no, like, she went head first into it and said, you know what? I'm not even going to take the time to earn it or make her respect me. I'm going to just go ahead and take it to the ground and just drown her. And I don't know if Xiaonan's got that level. No, I don't think she's got that level of ground game yet to be on the ground and trying to mix it up with Jessica like that yet. Not at all. That's why I say when it comes down to her hand game, you got to take a page out of what you've been seeing these last few fighters do. Even going all the way back to Joanna, I always say go back to that fight, because Jessica's still open for some of those basic strikes, those basic combinations, those basic sequences, like a 1-2 or a double jab. If you could throw that in her face, you can throw her off her game for the most part. Because once you tag her with those 1 or 2 shots, you can get in, get those off, get out, and make her reset. Because when Jessica loads up, and you kind of step straight back without landing anything, that's kind of like what she expects from a lot of fighters, from her opponents, and that's how she usually gets the job done. Like, if you look at Lauren Murphy's fight, like Lauren Murphy was giving her too much of a chance to load up and throw them punches and sequences, and she would never just full on commit to her jab. I mean, I know she was getting hit with some hard leg kicks, but still, you have to sit down on a few punches to get that respect. Erin Blanchfield, Erin Blanchfield, people talked about her striking, but like I was telling people, her striking it's been improving. It's not flashy, and it's not like the pretty striking that you see of Rose, but it gets the job done. She turns him over, she commits to him, and that's how she stood her ground against Jessica. Erin Blanchfield kept those punches square in the face of Jessica, and it earned her respect. So to me, Jan's going to have something with a little bit more pop than usual. It's got to be consistent. And number one, you can't run. Don't give Jessica that space. Don't give her all of that real estate. You can't be running around in there. So I think if Jan stands her ground a little bit more in this fight, she's got some, good boxing coaches. She used to train out of the Mayweather gym for a little bit. Xiaonan did. So I think it's important that she mixes in at the right moments now, like upper body movement, upper body defense. Like, you don't want to stay in the pocket too long because Jessica could just drop a level and take you down. Because Jessica was watching that Carla Esparza fight, and if Jessica knows one thing, she knows that beyond Xiaonan, her ground game is improving, but she knows that if that opening comes in, she'll want to take it to the ground because the minute she starts eating combinations, she's going to want to take it to the ground. So I think it's just on Xiaonan to make the wise decisions and say, let me stay in the pocket just a little bit so I can get off those shots and kind of frustrate Andrade. Kind of, like I say, you got to not necessarily intimidate Jessica, but kind of make her rethink things that, oh, this girl ain't going nowhere. That's what Aaron did. That's what Joanna did. That's what a lot of those girls did that got that victory over Jessica. You got to stand your ground. Like, when you run or you react just off of one punch from Andrade, that's when she goes in for the kill. But once you kind of stand your ground, that kind of makes her have to reprogram and say, okay, she took one shot. Now let's see if she can take the other, but I'm not sure because she took that other one so well, right? It kind of, you can kind of see things computing in the head of Andrade, like through her eyes. Like when Aaron didn't go anywhere after those first couple of shots, she seemed to kind of get a little discouraged. You know what I mean? All right, let me check some comments here. Yeah, BJ said Aaron stood right in front of Andrade. Yeah, she did. She stood right in front of her, and like you said, that was what her team had told her was not to back up. And you don't want to back up. Like, you got to smother. You got to smother it. And yeah. You have to be first. You got to be first in the fight like this. Gabrielle said Kareem Ketlin is set for June 3rd. Damn, I wish they would have rescheduled that Priscilla Cachoeira fight. Raviel said, thinking about it, though, Andrade hasn't used much grappling recently. No, she hasn't. Like, she really hasn't used too much grappling. Like, she's become a striker a little too much for her own good. You know what I mean? Like, she's got the power, right? Of course, and that's where a lot of her damage comes from. But she hasn't used as much as she has, like, since that Claudia Gadelha fight. Like, I'm gonna have to go back and really, like, look at that because I was watching a lot of Jan Janan's, fights, but let me look at Jessica Andrade. Like, what was the fight where she really got down and dirty on the ground? Like, got to stand in submission, against Lemos. But when has she been on that ground as of lately? Like, she was on the ground a bit with Claudia. And who else? Claudia Gadelha. You see her on the ground with Claudia Gadelha. But who else is like Andrade been on the ground with as of recently? Well, Aaron, and you saw what happened with Valentina, And that's what makes me put some things into question about, well, Aaron and Valentina, that's how good their ground game is. I was fully 100% confident that Aaron Blanchfield could finish Andrade on the ground. I don't care, short notice or not. I believe well-rested, full training camp Andrade would still get submitted by Aaron Blanchfield. Okay? I feel like her ground game is way better on that level. So fighters like her and Valentina, yeah, they would definitely submit her. But I don't know if Jan Xiaonan has that IQ at that level to take that chance with Jessica now, just because Jessica hasn't really grappled too much, When she slammed Rose, it's really been... I wouldn't even say that, because when she slammed Rose, that was it, right? Caitlin Chikagan, did she go to the ground with Caitlin Chikagan? It really has been a while, like, since we've seen her ground game. And yeah, like, the last two times she has been on the ground, she's got finished. Valentina and Blanchfield. So that's another question. Like, is Andrade's ground game gonna save her in this fight? Like, can her ground game save her in this fight? Like, is Xiaonan's ground game still green? That green where she would get finished by somebody like Jessica? Because see, the position is like Carla Esparza. That's where Carla beat. Carla's always there. Carla's always there. Like, Carla might not be as powerful of a striker like Jessica, but Carla Esparza is always on the ground, right? Like, that's where she wanted to fight. Like, it was textbook whenever Xiaonan threw that right hand and boom, she like just caught her and took her down and just positioned that body and got that half guard, and then she just started, wailing away on Xiaonan. Like, that's that's what Carla does. Like, she looks for those type of positions. Like, Jessica, as of lately, looks for knockouts. She looks to beat you up on the feet and looks for those openings where she can just capitalize on her full strength. I know people can't disagree or hate on this, what I'm going to say, but, Carla's a lot more technical than Jessica. She's got to be, right? Because Carla's not really that good of a striker. Carla doesn't really have that type of physical strength like Jessica. So everything about Carla's got to be a little bit more strategic, and she's got to look for those mistakes, and she's got to step in at the right moment. See, Andrade uses a lot of like bull force and intimidation, to weaken her opponents. But the minute fighters like Valentina or Aaron, or even like Joanna, they meet her bull force with counter strength and technique, doesn't really have an answer. She doesn't really have an answer anymore. So I hope in this fight, Jana, she putting that strength up. I hope she's got that strength on where it need to be, and I hope her takedown defense is something they've really, really been working on, just to avoid getting slammed, or getting put on her back. Because yeah, whether or not whether or not Jessica Andrade grappled a lot in her last few fights, I still think Jan on her back is gonna be a bad position against Jessica. But yeah, I might have to go back and look at her resume again. Jessica's resume. I'm like, I see her on the feet so much, swinging and landing big punches. It's been a while since I thought about, like, wow, she hadn't grappled a lot. Like, when was the last time she spent some time on the ground? Like in certain moments. So we never know, man. Like, y'all might be able to pop back up from a ground position or reverse Jessica. You just got to know your opponent's positioning and those subtle moves they make on the ground. Jessica, she's strong, but if you put her in a certain position like Valentina did, because of her height and her reach, you can kind of render her helpless sometimes, but you got to be good on the ground. So I would say Jan, she can get the respect if she keeps consistent with those punches, straight punches, nothing too fancy, and the footwork. Footwork is very important against Jessica. Like, you've got to have the footwork. You've got to not run from her, but you got to know how to step to the side, make her reset, make her miss, make her pay, even stand in the pocket a little bit and be able to get out. Get them hard punches, combinations off, and then get out. Then make Jessica just wonder what just happened, and that'll kind of discourage an opponent like her. Same way Joanna did, mix it up, touch that leg when she step in, and keep the jabs in her face. But you know what? Even Joanna had a hard time getting respect from Jessica. I can't say she got her full on respect, because she still kept coming. If you come with that game plan of being a volume hitter, you got to be awake. You just got to be awake the whole fight. You got to be awake the whole fight. I think that Aaron, with that fight being at 125 and being such a good grappler and being a harder hitter than Joanna, I think that's how you have to get her respect. Not running, standing your ground, And that's how you really discourage Jessica. That's how you discourage a lot of those bullies that they just want to be punches and go for the knockout. You got to smother them, meet them head on. Of course, when I say meet them head on, I don't mean trade with them now. Like, when I say meet them head on, you still got to be slick and move your head, but you got to be standing your ground in these type of fights. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's really been a while, Ravioli. Oh, Nabash, what's up? He said, I don't think Andrade can finish Yano on the feet, but can see Andrade see it winning a decision using her wrestling. Yeah. Yeah, if she gets her on the back, that might be trouble. I don't know though, man. Like, Carla was finishing her with some pretty heavy blows, and if Andrade can, position her on the back, she could be playing some heavy blows now. Jan's grappling defense didn't look bad against Dern. No, it didn't. It didn't. Like, yeah, she's improved. Like, she's learned from, like, she's a different fighter from the Carla fight. I give her that. She is different. Like, and you want to see that. Like, even if it has been just a couple fights, like, yeah, she's different from the Carla fight. Ravioli said Andrade can be discouraged. She was defeated as soon as she felt how strong Valentina was in the clinch. That's a good point too. Yeah, like, as soon as she felt the strength, I would say, I think it came to the point where she wanted to slam, like when she had Valentina's back to the cage and Valentina had the wide, base, and she went to grab the leg for the single leg and she pulled and she couldn't move her. That really discouraged her because she was like, oh, I can't slam her. She had her in that position like she had Rose and she couldn't get the slam. She couldn't get her off of her feet. That really discouraged her. Yeah, Aaron's right hand, it was on the money in that fight. Even her jab, it was laying square. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like, Ravioli, like, her striking doesn't have to be amazing. If it gets to the point and she can later on get you down, that's all it's got to be. And that's all I'm saying about grapplers and wrestlers. Like, if they can get their striking to a point where it works and it's not like their foundation, and then, they don't have to be pretty with it and flashy. If they can just make it work and make it land, that's all I'm asking. Like, I've never said these grapplers and wrestlers got to turn into, like, some type of superstar on the feet. No, like, they just got to make it work. Make it work, because you still got to know how to land a punch or two. Like, if somebody knows your every move as far as just sliding in with the same takedowns, like, it ain't gonna work. Like, this has been with Carla. Like, Carla's had to kind of develop her hands a little bit more. Okay, hold on one second. Okay. Oh, that's a different language. So somebody translate that. I don't know what that is. Hold on one second. So yeah, I wanted to just talk about Jan a little bit, because I haven't really discussed him too much. But yeah, I think Jan Jana has a chance. Please don't ignore the jab in this fight. Keep it moving. I don't see her finishing Andrade, but I see her possibly, getting this thing, getting her decision. Like, that's not my full-on pick yet. I'll probably do that tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see. Looking at Marina Rodriguez. All right, let's look at Marina Rodriguez for a little bit before I jump off here. Oh boy, Marina, boy, that last fight against Amanda Lemos. Ooh, man, rough one, man. I won't say that was like, for Marina Rodriguez, I've always thought it was going to come down to somebody with amazing ground game that was going to finish her on the ground. Like, that's what I always thought. Like, that's very strange, man. Like, I've always thought it was going to be somebody that had, like, the right takedown strategy, wrestling, all of that. That's what I thought it was going to be. That was going to finish somebody like Marina Rodriguez. But for the most part, Marina got past a lot of submission specialists, right? She got past, well, the Carla fight, it was kind of was a close fight, right? The Carla fight was close. She got past Mackenzie Dern, you know. But I'm just looking at it now. Like, who else on this resume? Who else on this resume? Who else we got on this resume? Hang on one second. All right, so yeah, so going back, yeah. All right, so what I'm saying is, look, I'm looking at her resume, Marina Rodriguez, and yeah, like I've always thought, just going by her ground game, and that just being her weakness and being able to get taken down, I always thought that it would have been somebody who's going to finish her on the ground. But it's wild, man. Like, it came down to the striker. It came down to a striker that defeated her. You know, it came down to a striker that defeated her. That was crazy, man. Like, and that just kind of showed you, like, another thing. Like, I won't say like Marina was like fully exposed, but it kind of showed you, like, even her lack of a full on like boxing IQ. Like, she's got a good Muay Thai IQ, and even like some parts of her choices with her right hand, like her kickboxing. But when it comes down to her actual like boxing IQ of being committed to like a jab, that's the problem. Like, that was kind of the problem I always seen with Marina. Like, I kind of want to say that was the downfall of her fight against Amanda Lemos. Like, she was never keeping like a good straight jab in the face of Amanda Lemos. Like, you got to fight fire with fire sometimes. Okay, you want to stay on your feet. Okay, you say Amanda Lemos might be a better boxer, a better striker. Well, no, like, if Marina Rodriguez comes in there, commits to a long straight jab, that's going to help her out in this type of situation, right? So to me, after watching that fight again, I was like, yeah. See, with her never being consistent with a good straight jab, that was kind of her problem. That was kind of her problem even in this fight. Like, she could never just commit to something, that was going to stay popping in the face of Amanda Lemos. She was showing her too much respect, in that fight. And she kind of got exposed to a certain level on the ground, not on the ground, on the feet, you know? And man, like, I know it's Amanda Lemos, but it kind of showed how durable Marina was to some of these punches too. Like, she couldn't really take some of these heavy blows. Like, she didn't know how to roll with them and take the steam off of them. It was just kind of like, if I can't get off, I got to stay on the outside and just show her the respect that I have to give her, because I don't have anything offering after, I don't have anything else besides what I usually bring. It's kind of yeah, like I said, it was just kind of like, wow, like, I never thought she would just lose straight out like that to somebody on the feet. I always thought she would probably get submitted. Like, even if Amanda Lemos would have won that, I said, okay, Amanda was probably going to take her to the ground and, submit her. But no, man, she got stopped on the feet. The boss said Marina's defense just wasn't good enough to deal with Lemos' power. Right. Yeah, there was just no defense. Well, there was no defense and there was no good offense. There was no good jab in there. Like, if she would have had a good jab, that would have been her good measuring point to find her, find her range and continue to blind her. You continue to throw it out there, blind her, and then follow up with that big right hand, or follow up with like a head kick or something. That would have opened up more opportunities for her. Yeah, she doesn't really have a lot of head movement either. Yeah, not a lot of head movement. That's why I say her boxing IQ is not very high. It's still too stiff, too Muay Thai-ish. And if you're gonna be that way, you got to be first in these fights. Like, you look at Joanna, man. Joanna, she translated her Muay Thai over perfectly to become a long reigning champion, a dominant champion. And even her movement, she became a little bit more looser. Like, you bring in Muay Thai and MMA, you gotta just take some of the basics. You gotta be a little bit more loose. You can't be stiff like that and just wait for openings for the big shot. Sometimes Marino throw them heavy shots and just throw the right hand and throw like a hard left hook instead of just staying like at a rhythm. Gabby said, feel bad for Marina because she has fought everyone in the top 10. Now she's going to have to fight down and risk her ranking. Yeah, I said that the other day. I was talking about that because I was like, she done ran through everybody. So at this point, it started with the Lemos fight. She had to fight down. And when she had to fight down, it was kind of like, oh, man, like, this is high risk, low reward because Amanda Lemos got a great chance to beat her. And look, she did. She went in there and stopped her. So a fighter like Marina kind of gets caught in that rock and a hard place sometimes, because it's like they're good enough to beat a lot of the other contenders. But when it comes to be special sometimes, to step out of the box, it's another story. And you know what it is. Like, what it is with Marina. Like, it's the ground game. It's the ground game and even that physical strength. Like, she's got good defensive skills on the ground. Like, she can defend some of these submissions, right? But when it comes down to winning rounds on the ground, that's her problem. Like, she can't really win rounds on the ground. She can survive, but she can't win rounds. So Marina's kind of stuck in that rock and the hard place. She's stuck here, going to be fighting some of these other contenders that she can beat on the feet. But when it comes down to the well-rounded fighters that got really good striking IQ and a good ground game and can take you down, that's going to keep her right there in the middle. So if she can't surpass that, she'll just be stuck there fighting everybody, which she's been doing. Like, she's fought everybody. She fought everybody in the top 10 right now, right? So with that, when a fighter like Verna comes along, who has been improving and watching the tape and saying, you know what, I think I can take her down and win this fight. This is where it gets kind of scary for her, because now Marina's she's gonna be fighting another grappler with some improving hands. You know what I mean? Like, I think Verna Jandiroba has been improving with her hands a little bit more. Like, her right hand's been looking a little bit sharper, and she's also been getting a little bit bigger too, like a little bit stronger. I think Verna's got some pretty good takedown, technique now. I think she's really been developing that, and she went in there and outclassed Angela Hill just by taking her down and owning her, on the ground. I thought she had some good moments against Amanda Ebos, but again, that shows you why Amanda Ebos steps out of the box versus some fighters. She still has that ground base to depend on. She got caught now. Verna cracked her with a couple right hands, but she still couldn't beat her. But I think Verna's learned from that, and if Verna can get past the striking, and sometimes, like we were talking about, the lack of volume with Marina, if she takes it to the ground in this fight, it's going to be a hard fight for Marina. It's going to be a hard-fought 3-round fight, because I know Verna was watching that Amanda Lemos fight. She said, you know what? If I commit to some of these overhand rights, and when she drops that low left and her head is right there on the line, even if I don't knock her out or hurt her, I can land one shot and then I can take her down because I know she can be taken down. She said, Mackenzie Dern can do it. I know I can do it. And off the record, I think Verna beat Mackenzie Dern. I just want to throw that out there again. BJ said, happy birthday to Aaron Blanchfield. Okay, it's Aaron Blanchfield's birthday. Okay. She's a May baby too. Okay. Yeah, I got a birthday coming up this month too. All right. Ravioli said Jan versus Lemos on the feet. Oh, that's an interesting fight, man. That is an interesting fight. Yeah, Ravioli. That was probably the first striking battle. Like, that was probably the first striking battle that kind of opened my eyes, because y'all go back and look at my past videos. I thought Jan won that fight. Like, I was rocking Marina going to the top because I wanted to see her get there. And she was winning some fights now. Who did she beat in a row? She had knocked out Amanda Ebos. And then she had beat, who did she beat? Mackenzie Dern and Michelle Waterson. Then when she came to Xiaonan, I was kind of like, uh-oh. After that decision, I was kind of like, uh-oh, I don't know. I kind of got to give it to Xiaonan. because I kind of saw Jan expose some things in that fight. She was able to touch her, and she was kind of making her chase her. So that was kind of like the first sign, yeah. So Marina as a striker is good at outstriking a lot of grapplers, but outstriking another striker seems to be a problem. And I think that is how you test how good your striking IQ is, not just against grapplers, because they don't really have too high of a striking IQ, right? But you have to test your striking ability against somebody who can strike back. And yeah, that fight was kind of like the first one where we seen how she handled somebody that can strike. And that was kind of a sign. So had a rough fight with Xiaonan, and it was all on the feet. Along comes Amanda Lemos, not just power, but an ability to set it up and set up the range. And she got done in. It was a mixture of the power and the technique in that fight. And yeah, it cost her. So yeah, I do feel bad for Marina. She's in that tough spot now. Verna, the fight's just going to get tougher from here, because let's say if she beats Verna and she still doesn't get a title shot, there's still Tatiana Suarez out there, right? So let's say Tatiana beats somebody else in the lower part of the rankings, then they move her up to get Tatiana closer to that title shot. They might make Marina fight Tatiana next, right? So, and let's say she's able to get by Tatiana, all right? Anything can happen, right? Let's say Marina does beat Tatiana. There's still something. Let's say Jillian Robertson gets this. Still got to worry about that submission specialist, But then there's just other strikers out there you have to really be wary of that she's going to have to face. So where she stands right now, I think it just goes to say that Marina Rodriguez has a lot of improvement to do, and not just on the ground, but just her lack of volume and lack of head movement in these fights. They can really, really be. This is some really critical stuff for her at this point. Because after watching that Lemos fight, a lot of people are going to take advantage of that and say, you know what, her head is right there on the line, and if I take away her right hand, this shouldn't be too hard. And Verna, I believe, has developed a good right hand of her own, and then she still has a ground game to fall back on. So yeah, it's going to be a tough fight. If Marina wants to keep this thing standing, she's going to have to throw more volume in this fight and try some new things out here. Try some new things as far as letting hands go in more of a quicker fashion than usual. Slicker fashion, not just committed to the 1-2 or a right hand and then ignore the jab. But yeah, if you go back and look at some Marina's fights, yeah, like she'll plant that right hand square on your chin, but sometimes when she's lacking that jab, that's what's costing her a couple of rounds, and that's what's also costing her not just the rounds like she's losing to strikers, but it's costing her the rounds where she gets taken down. Because I think she could have knocked out Mackenzie Dern, man, if she would have just kept pacing her with that jab. Like if she would have kept pasting that jab in Mackenzie Dern's face, she probably would have knocked her out in like maybe 3 rounds. Mackenzie's tough, but if the jab would have been blind to Mackenzie Dern's face in like 1-2 rounds like that, she probably could have been busting her up, man. Like, and that's the thing. Like, it might not rate a jab as a significant punch, but the jab can still draw blood, and it'll do a lot of damage. So if Marina would keep on something like that, she'd be knocking more girls out in much more convincing fashion. There'd be no scary moments where she would be getting taken down or possibly submitted. That's what I'm saying. Like, she still has that force behind her right hand, unlike Joanna. Joanna doesn't overly commit to her punches. She'll land with enough firepower, to draw blood and to damage you. But see, the thing about Marina is if she had like that piston jab and then sat down on her right hand, then she'd be getting more knockouts to me. Yeah, Tatiana or Carla rematch. Ooh, I think Marina would wait for that Carla rematch because if they did the Tatiana fight, boy, that'd be another setback for Marina Rodriguez. Let's be real. The boss said they did Rodriguez dirty with the matchmaking. They forced her to fight down until she eventually lost. Yeah, they did, man. Like, honestly, man, whenever she racked up her 4 fights, you know, they could have like let her wait. They could have let her wait or give her the softest touch possible or give her a proper date for a title fight. You know what I mean? Give her a proper date for a title fight or make Rose actually fight her even whenever she lost to Carl at the time. You know what I mean? Like, not Amanda Lemos. Make the Rose fight at some point. You know, give Marina a break here. Like, I was going back and forth. I don't know, in the boss, you remember that? Like, what was that? Like last year? Everybody was trying to go in and even going in at me because I say Marina deserves a full training camp because she didn't want to take the Zhang Wei Li fight on short notice, on a what, 2-month notice, right? Or like a month notice, whatever it was at the time. I don't know. But I thought that was crazy. I was like, no, that's not fair. Like, just set the time up right for Marina to get her title shot at this point. Because what she was like, she went 4 fights in a row. She went 4 fights in a row. So I was like, give her a break now. Like, either give her a soft touch or give her somebody that's going to get her a guaranteed title shot now. That's where I was at with it, because at some point, if y'all just let her sit there, y'all going to make her fight down. And then when they gave her Amanda Lemos at the time, I was like, oh, snap. Oh, snap. That was messed up, man. Marina versus Andrade. No, that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen because they have the same management. And Marina already went on record and said that they won't fight because they're the same management. They have the same manager. The only way they'll fight is if it's for the title. If Andrade has the title, Marina said, I'll fight her. Vice versa. So Marina versus Andrade, that fight ain't going to happen unless it's for the title. Same manager. Marina cuts a lot of weight. Yeah, she's a thin fighter, though. I don't really see her being like a 125er. And she makes weight. She does make weight. She looks good. Like, she looks like the part of a strawweight to me. She's in that thin realm like her and Rose, maybe even a little thinner because she's, kind of tall and slim. I don't really think it takes away from her because I think if she moved up to 125, I don't know if she can handle 125. I think Joanna would be better at 125 because you can see a little bit more muscle on her, and Joanna's physically strong too. Like, you could see like the rough weight cuts in Joanna. Joanna has a lot more muscle, I believe, like more muscle in her. So I think that would have been a better choice for her. But Marina, I'm not sure. Like, her weight cut's like a big issue for her. If Jan wins, does she wait until Lemos versus Whaley happens? It's possible. Let me see. Depends on how long before that fight happens. To me, it really depends. Jan would probably want to wait because Jan said that if she wins this fight, she thinks she should get a title shot. But to me, I think it means you get one, but you're gonna have to wait, right? Because I think Lemos versus Wei Lee makes more sense now. So she could get the title shot a little bit later, maybe like by the end of the year. Like, if Wei Lee wants to fight 2 times this year, let it be. And that would be a good thing too. Like, that would be good build up by the end of the year. Like, say Wei Lee fights Lemos in July or August, right? In all that time, Yan Xiaonan, after this fight, let's see, it's May now, right? This week. 6 months, like November, December, that's fair. 6-7 months. That'll give her plenty of time to train and plenty of time to promote that fight for, China, a big China event. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think Yan could get her shot. If she wins this fight, she should get her shot at the end of the year. Let me make it clear. Like, she should get her shot at the end of the year after Lemos. So that way, Wei Lee can give Lemos the chance, and Wei Lee can still fight 2 times this year. That makes sense, right? Ravioli said, "Yeah, I was about to say Marina is big. Is Marina bigger than Joanna? I don't think she is. No, like I think that I don't know, like when she blows up, like does she have more body, like more fat on her? I don't know, but she's always kind of looked like a thinner fighter, even like in her downtime. But to me, Joanna looks like she has more muscle. Like even now, go look at Joanna during her vacation days. Like she puts on a little bit more weight, and she still looks good, like muscular. So I think Joanna's weight cuts were hard because she's losing a lot of muscle. She doesn't have a lot of fat. Losing muscle is hard. That's harder on the body, I believe. From what I've seen. If Marina wins, who's next for her, Rose or the UFC could give her Suarez? I hope they don't give her Suarez. If Marina wins, shoot, that'll be her first win back. I don't think she should get a title shot yet. I think she should just try to fight up from there or wait. Like, I don't think it's fair for her to fight down again because that'll be Lemos, Verna, and now Suarez. That wouldn't be fair. Like, they'd have to line her up. They'd have to line her up with Rose or something like that. Line her up with Rose, or whenever Carla comes back after the baby, give her that rematch. It's got to be one of those two fights. You know what I mean? It's got to be one of those two fights right there because I don't think it'd be fair to make her fight down again. Robot said Lemos would get in the back of the line if Jan wins. I don't know about that. Like, I think Whaley should fight 2 times this year. The Lemos fight should happen now because that's the one everybody's looking forward to right now. And if you want good build-up and good promotion, they should make Whaley Jan at the end of the year. That would be smarter, I believe. Like, closer towards the end of the year. Closer towards the end of the year so you can have that build-up and then Jan can prepare for the fight. Because let's say if she wins this fight now in May, and y'all got to think about this too. Whaley wants to come back in June or July. Jan's not going to come back in 2 months to fight the champion. So let's map this out. Like, I'm mapping this thing out like I'm a matchmaker here. Listen up now. Look. All right. Whaley wants to come back in July or June, right? Ain't that what her manager said? Or whoever in her team said June or July. If Jan wins this fight, she is not coming back to fight the champion on a 2-month notice or a month and a half notice. She's not jumping, especially after fighting Jessica Andrade. No. So Jan is not going to be next. It's got to be Lemos. Because if Whaley wants to come back in the summer, the only fighter that's really prepared right now is the same fighter on the same turnaround time, which is Amanda Lemos. So to make it fair, in 5 to 6 months or 6 to 7 months, the fight should be made in like November or December because that time, Jan's got plenty of time to prepare for a big event. The UFC has plenty of time to promote a big China event. And of course, the champion has plenty of time if she's getting past the land of Lemos, right? If she gets by Lemos. So to me, that wouldn't be smart if Whaley and her team and the matchmakers said, okay, Jan Xiaonan won this fight. We're going to skip everything. We're just going to wait all the way to the end of the year. You're going to be inactive and not fight anybody. You know what I mean? Like, if she's a real champion and they believe in her, she can fight Lemos first. And if she wins, then she can fight Jan Xiaonan. To me, that makes the most sense. Like, Lemos ain't going to have it either. She's already number 3. I don't think they're going to have her sit around and just wait. They're going to go ahead and make this fight. There's no reason to hold this thing back. I mean, they're making Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez, right? That's how it's always done here, right? Got to make this thing happen. I mean, she ain't no interim champion, but she is next in line. The boss said, please, no Marina or Carla rematch. Their first fight was so frustrating to watch. It wasn't that bad, I don't think. I don't think it was that bad, was it? I have to go back and look at it, but it wasn't that bad for the most part. Maybe in a sense where nobody really took the reins and led the fight, and the rounds were kind of hard to score. Maybe in that sense. Gabby said, I think if Andrade loses, Suarez is next for her. Suarez isn't getting any younger. It seems that the UFC is going to push Suarez to the top. Yeah, she's in there now. So, yeah, if Andrade loses, man, that'll be the fight. I've been wanting to see that fight for a long time. I mean, of course, the stock has gone down on it, and there's been some wear and tear on Andrade. And, of course, Suarez, a lot of injuries. So, Suarez versus Andrade for what it is, I'll take it now. I mean, I wanted it before. I wanted that fight back in 2017, 2018, even 2019, but we couldn't have it. Oh, but I'll take it now. For sure. All right, but I'm about to get up out of here in a minute. Sorry if I'm making a bunch of noise. Just getting something here. About to rock out here. But I am going to be on tomorrow since I'm off. Me and BJ got to get on and do a show, man. I was trying to get him on, but I was like busy. Do a show all the way through. I've just been kind of busy, so I said we try to get on either tomorrow or something. If I have time, if my time is off, then I'll just have to do a show by myself. I don't know, like I don't want to just like keep on telling him. You know, I want to set the time up so we can actually, you know, be on at the same time, and you know, but some of these days, like I just been getting on whenever I have the time. We'll see. Yeah, he said, yeah, you know, I'm down. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll try to do something tomorrow. If we do one tomorrow, it might be around like 8 o'clock or something. Hold on, Gabby said, I felt like if Rose won her rematch against Carla, Marina versus Rose could have happened, but Carla won. The UFC didn't want Carla's champ, so they gave Weili versus Xiaonan winner of the title shot. Yeah, that kind of messed up a lot of things. Like, I'm kind of mad at Rose for that too. Like, I picked Carla to win that fight because that's how I felt about Rose fully committing to that fight. But if Rose would have woke up and won that fight, man, if Rose would have just woke up and won that fight, things would have been different in the division fully. Like, Rose probably would have fought Marina. And then after that, Weili and Joanna probably still would have fought. But I just kind of think it would have things would have turned out a little bit different. Like, I think Marina would have been matched up and closer to the top at this point. You know, it would have made more sense. She wouldn't have to fight Amanda Lemos at any point. You know what I mean? We just say I'll be available tomorrow at 8. Okay. Yeah, let me see what I got going on. But you know, I keep you posted. We got some things to talk about. Bring some topics, man, what you want to talk about too, man. Like, talk about a few things. Because I want to talk about these fights coming up, these strawweight fights. But what else? What else I want to talk about tomorrow? Well, yeah. Cyborg got re-signed. Cyborg got re-signed. So, hey, now, Cyborg got re-signed, BJ. So, hey, Cat better start calling that name. BJ, tomorrow we gonna go in, and I'm gonna tell you this tomorrow, BJ. Look, Chris Cyborg got re-signed, and if Cat don't speak up, I'm gonna campaign for Sarah McMahon to get that title shot. How you like that? I'm campaigning for Sarah McMahon to get that title shot. Because you know why? Now I'm gonna say the smoke. Now I'm gonna give you a little bit of the smoke now. Sarah McMahon came straight in and beat Arlene Blencowe. She beat a top contender right away. She didn't need no tune-up fight. Sarah McMahon came straight into featherweight, 30-27 Arlene Blencowe, and boom, she should get her title shot. I think she would go in and swipe that title shot. Thoughts on Invicta FC last night? I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. I'm gonna do a video on that, Gabby. But I enjoyed it. We got a couple finishes. We got some finishes, man. We got some finishes last night. Wasn't bad. Olga Rubin using big old legs to get that buggy choke on Claire Guthrie. And like I was kind of like upset with Olga's performance though. Like she was really letting like Claire Guthrie handle her, man. Like, you know, and she's huge. So I'm like, girl, at what point are you gonna like start putting some power behind your shots and moving? You know, but Victory came in there. Claire Guthrie was a little reckless though. She was a little reckless. She was doing a good job of out strengthening and pressure, but there was some reckless moments. And I mean, the buggy choke was evident. So yeah, Claire was winning, but it was reckless. It was kind of it reminded me of Pena versus Shevchenko. You know, Pena could have been winning that fight, but there should have been a point where you slowed down and, you know, just take a breath. But she stayed in there too long. Who else was I looking at on that fight that looked good? That fight card. Claire Guthrie. But the atom weights in general. The atom weights in general, man. The atom weights in general, I like. You know, I want the UFC to do an atom weight division. I wasn't really impressed with Jessica Del Bonte's performance because, you know, Danielle Taylor, sometimes Danielle she just don't come with it, man. She just don't come with the fire. So it's not really much to rate on to me. I can't really like say, okay, she showed like she's a strawweight threat. Because what I saw from Jessica Del Bonte, she's going to have to come with some heat if she fight Danny McCormick, the champion. Danny's pretty easy to hit too, but I think somebody for Fatima Klein would handle Jessica Del Bonte because, for one, Jillian DeCourcy trained with Fatima Klein, who helped her with her submission game that helped her submit Jessica Del Bonte, right? And Fatima Klein is like a huge strawweight. So I think Fatima Klein could beat somebody like her before she can get the title shot. Like, I wasn't impressed with her as a strawweight. I really wasn't like fully impressed with her as a strawweight to me. But that's all I got, man. I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna try to jump on tomorrow. B, if you open for the show, I'll let you know. We'll jump on and talk. Let me get this grind thing in. Make sure y'all subscribe. Combo Breaking 99. I'm out. Peace.